An ongoing outbreak in the Lubbock area is continuing to increase in numbers, but Texas Tech students don't have much to worry about. Coming up, we'll have the latest details on the West Texas measles outbreak.
If you have a horse, a saddle, and love to compete, one university group continues to host events that not only let you show off your skill, but earn some money in the process. Find out how students in the local community brave the weather for a chance to show off their abilities.
And Texas Tech basketball had already secured their spot in the postseason, but they decided to cap it off with an exclamation mark on Saturday. But those Red Raiders weren't the only ones making headlines during another busy weekend on the Texas Tech athletic calendar. MCTV's Nathan Boles will have all the details in sports.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Monday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Madilyn Coyne.
And I'm Elisabeth Herring. An ongoing outbreak of a highly contagious disease is continuing to spread across the West Texas area, and the number infected are increasing.
The additional cases continue to make headlines across the country, but luckily the biggest area of concern does not include the city of Lubbock. On Friday, the Texas Department of State Health Services put out a news release with the latest numbers in the measles outbreak across the West Texas area. In total, 198 cases had been identified as of the end of last week, and Gaines County continues to be the epicenter of the spread, with 137 cases. The newest report included 39 new cases that had been identified, which more than doubled the previous number of new cases from Tuesday. Here in Lubbock, only 3 cases of measles have been officially confirmed, considering that Lubbock County and Lubbock include more residents than the rest of the South Plains combined. The low number of cases appears to be connected to the much higher rate of vaccinations in the local population. In Gaines County, one of the school districts that has been hit the hardest by the measles outbreak is Lubbock ISD. During the 2023-2024 school year, more than 47% of students enrolled received a vaccine exemption, allowing them to enroll in school without getting some or all vaccines. In comparison, the 3 largest school districts in Lubbock County reported that 3% or less of all students had a vaccine exemption request filled during the same time period. And overall, the school district with the highest percentage of exemptions in Lubbock County was Rise Academy, with 5.8% of students exempted from vaccines. But according to the most recent population report from National Center for Education Statistics, Rise had only 301 students enrolled in the previous school year. The Lubbock Public Health Department has not released any information regarding vaccine clinics for this week, but vaccines are still available by appointment through most healthcare providers across the Lubbock area. Here on campus, you can contact Student Health Services by calling 806-743-2848 for any questions, concerns, or to get the shot.
Last week, we reported that the Texas Tech Student Government Association elections had been canceled due to a technical issue. But this week, you will still have a chance to make your voice heard as dozens of Red Raiders hope to become the next leaders of the student body. On Thursday afternoon, the SGA confirmed that the rescheduled 2025 elections will take place all day Wednesday. The online ballot will be available starting at midnight tomorrow, and the virtual polls will remain open through 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday night. Each of the executive candidates will be on the ballot, along with senator candidates from the university's 10 colleges, the law school, and the graduate school. As we also mentioned last week, only one of the executive candidate positions is being contested in this year's election. The race for graduate vice president, all 3 of the top positions in SGA feature only one candidate available for your vote. These 3 candidates, along with the winners of the graduate VP race and open Senate spots, will all be sworn in before the end of the spring semester and will serve during the upcoming 2025-2026 school year.
Over the weekend, many groups across campus and around Lubbock had planned on hosting outdoor events. Unfortunately, Mother Nature had different plans, as temperatures plummeted heading into Saturday morning. Many of this weekend's options were rescheduled, but a few toughed out the conditions and stayed on schedule. On Saturday and Sunday, the Texas Tech Equestrian Center was the location of a 2-day event called Matador Mania. The TTU rodeo team invited out competitors from around the area to compete in multiple events on both Saturday and Sunday. On Sunday night, a 4D barrel race was held at the Equestrian Center's indoor arena at 7:30 p.m. The race was open to competitors of all ages, including a youth category for younger contestants. Sunday's barrel racing was the final event of the weekend, capping off a full schedule hosted and organized by the rodeo team. Saturday included a round of goat tying, breakaway roping, and tie-down roping. And earlier on Sunday, team roping started off the day before the barrel race later last night. The Texas Tech rodeo team has started to offer weekly events, including jackpots each Tuesday night. But this past weekend's schedule was the largest set of events hosted by the rodeo team since the annual Texas Tech Rodeo was held at Cook's Garage in October. The colder weather that brought changes to Lubbock's events calendar may have forced many students to stay indoors. But by yesterday, the sun returned and temperatures jumped by nearly 20 degrees, giving many people a reason to get back outside. And with spring break just around the corner, can we expect the weather to feel a lot less like winter and a lot more like spring? Elisabeth now joins us from the Weather Center with details on what we can expect during the final days before the start of a week-long holiday in today's MCTV forecast. Elisabeth?
Thanks, Madilyn. Well, gorgeous afternoon here at Texas Tech University. Nice clear blue skies, a little bit warmer today with highs in the 70s. However, it was a different story this weekend. Saturday, we started off pretty chilly. We even saw some precipitation towards the end of our evening on Saturday, and that did impact some of the South Plains area. Here in Lubbock, we got under a half inch of rain, so not much here locally at home, but the other parts of the South Plains did see some significant rain across the area, half an inch in some places seeing up to an inch, and Childress seeing up to 2 inches in some of their areas. So definitely good because, as you know from our last week's forecast, we are seeing a drought here in the South Plains, and that also does increase damages of wind and creates a fire hazard. So good that we are getting rain. However, it looks like the wind is going to pick up once again this week. On Tuesday, it'll start to increase, and then on Wednesday, 8 a.m. is really when we're going to see the impacts of the wind start to hit the Lubbock area. As you head to class on Wednesday morning, 7:30 a.m., 37, gusts up to 37 here in Lubbock. And as we head into the afternoon, that's going to remain pretty constant with gusts up to 29 in Lubbock, 3 p.m. on Wednesday. And that's going to stick around for the rest of Wednesday and also continue some into Thursday and Friday as well. Well, here locally in Lubbock tonight, 41 degrees. Tomorrow, warming up even warmer than today with a high of 84 degrees. So if you want to do some studying outside for tests before spring break, tomorrow is going to be the day to do it. Slight west breeze, 17 miles per hour. As we take a look at the rest of our week, staying pretty warm Wednesday, high of 79. Thursday, mostly cloudy skies, unfortunately, but still warmer with a high of 81, lows in the 40s as we head into our weekend, cooling off just a bit on Friday with a high of 63, remaining in the 60s for the rest of our weekend. Saturday, partly cloudy skies and high of 60. Sunday, warming up slightly with a high of 69 and sunny skies, and starting next week off 82, and we could see some return of some windy weather as well. Lows this weekend in the lower 40s and upper 30s. Well, the wind is coming on Wednesday right now. Currently today, we don't have any red flag warnings, but that could change as we head into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So just keep an eye on the weather as we head into the rest of this week. I'm Elisabeth, and it's back to Madilyn.
Thanks, Elisabeth. Texas Tech Athletics had a busy weekend regardless of this past weekend's weather, although it did lead to at least one schedule change. But either way, all but 2 teams found success both here at home and on the road. And for one of those teams, the future looks bright as they prepare to head into one of the most popular sports tournaments on the yearly calendar. MCTV's Nathan Boles is in today with a look at all the top stories from Texas Tech athletics and sports. Nathan?
Thanks, Madilyn. Red Raider basketball finished the regular season strong on Saturday. Texas Tech took down Arizona State 85-57 on the road in Tempe. The first 30 minutes saw Tech ahead with a small lead, but it was the last 10 minutes where Tech pulled ahead and left no doubt. JT Toppin led the way with 25 points and 11 rebounds, getting his 14th double-double of the season. Christian Anderson came off the bench and had another big game with 21 points. Overall, Tech had 32 points off the bench, while Arizona State had none. Up next is the Phillips 66 Big 12 Championship at Kansas City. With the win, Tech sealed a double bye and the number 2 seed in the tournament. Under the new format, Tech will only have to win 3 games to win the title. They'll start in the quarterfinals Thursday at 6 against either Baylor, Kansas State, or Arizona State. The semifinals will be on Friday, and the championship game will be on Saturday. Texas Tech softball showed this weekend why they're a top 15 team. They did something the program hasn't done in almost 9 years. The Red Raiders took the series against number 13 Oklahoma State with 2 shutout wins on Friday. Tech run-ruled the Cowgirls 9-0 in the first game, finishing it with a 2-run homer from Bailey Lindemuth. The scoring was lower in Game 2, moved from Saturday due to the weather, but Tech still held on to get a 2-0 win. Nigeri Kennedy and Chloe Riasetto pitched 12 shutout innings over the 2 games on Friday. Although Tech lost Sunday 10-1 in 5 innings, Tech still got the series for the first time over the Cowgirls since 2016. And Friday's win was the first run rule win over a Big 12 opponent since 2019. Tech will now go on the road to play Baylor. It starts a 10-game road trip for the Red Raiders. They won't play at Rocky Johnson Field again until April 4th when they play Utah. In other Texas Tech sports, there were big wins with top teams, some tough losses, and a win-loss record that is really hard to swallow. We'll start with number 13 women's tennis. They went to Utah and left with 2 Big 12 wins. They beat Utah 4-1 on Thursday and got through BYU 4-2 on Saturday. Tech women's tennis is now 11-1 on the year and 4-0 in the Big 12. They'll stay on the road to play TCU Friday and number 15 Baylor on Sunday. On to women's basketball in Kansas City, where a spirited run to try to make March Madness ultimately fell short. After upsetting Utah Thursday in the Big 12 tournament, Tech fell to number 21 Oklahoma State 62-59 on Friday, despite a career-high 17 points from Logan Johnson. With the NCAA tournament out of reach, the rest of the season for them is now unclear. Meanwhile, men's tennis went 2-1 at the Ed Collins Invitational in San Diego. After losing 4-3 to Old Dominion, Tech beat UC San Diego and San Diego State to get some momentum before conference action. They'll host Utah at McLeod Tennis Center in Lubbock on Thursday. And in baseball, the Red Raiders have hit a new low. They lost all 3 games to Grand Canyon over the weekend. And Tech baseball is now 3-11 on the year for the first time since 1974. They'll try to get back on the horse Friday when they start Big 12 play on the road against Houston. That's all we got for sports. Back to you, Madilyn and Elizabeth.
Thanks, Nathan. The Texas Tech Museum is home to a large collection of artifacts and displays that highlight the creations of local artists and the history of Lubbock and the South Plains region.
The museum also features several galleries with rotating exhibits that vary throughout the year. And right now, one of those exhibits is highlighting a creation of a local artist that literally changed the face of the United States currency. At the end of last year, the Texas Tech Museum opened a special exhibit titled The 25th Anniversary of the Sacagawea Dollar. The exhibit features artifacts that demonstrate the design process that led to the creation of the new U.S. dollar coin that debuted a quarter of a century ago. The coin includes a depiction of Sacagawea, a Native American woman who acted as an interpreter during the Lewis and Clark expedition in the early 1800s. The image of Sacagawea was designed and eventually sculpted by artist Glenna Goodacre. Goodacre was from Lubbock and created several iconic pieces that can be found across the United States, but the selection of her depiction of Sacagawea cemented Goodacre's place in history, with the obverse of the coin having been in use since 2000. Goodacre's submission was selected out of 123 entries, and the result has been placed on billions of dollar coins. The 25th anniversary of the Sacagawea Dollar exhibit will be on display at the Museum of Texas Tech from now through June 15th. Admission is free and the museum is open every day except for Mondays, but you can stop by and check it out tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
So, Elizabeth, are you going to plan on stopping by the Sacagawea coin exhibit?
It sounds really interesting. I think I might swing by and check it out.
Honestly, I might too. I just now figured out about it.
It seems really awesome.
Yes, it does. That's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check t2hub.net every day for more news. We'll see you next Thursday.